The United States Constitution was written to form a more perfect union that would enable checks and balances to prevent a bloody revolution from being a necessary measure to abolish tyranny. Excellent though it was, Colonel George Mason feared the national government might one day end in a tyrannical aristocracy. The rights of the people needed to be secured against potential corruption at the national level. One of the solutions the framers decided upon can be found in Article 5, which gives state legislators the authority to call a convention that bypasses federal legislators to amend the Constitution. That gives we the people the opportunity to make some long overdue structural adjustments. Maybe term limits would be a good place to start. Here's how the process works. Citizens request their state legislators to pass a bill called an application, with operative language identical in each state. These legislators of the states then pass the application. Generally, only a simple majority is needed. Congress shall, by law, call a convention of the states as soon as it receives applications from 2/3 of the state legislatures. That's 34 states. Delegates chosen by the state legislatures attend the convention. Each state only gets one vote at the convention, but they can send as many delegates to represent the state as they so choose. Amendments are proposed, debated, and voted upon at the convention. Finally, ratification takes place in the states. Each amendment must be ratified by 3/4 of the states in order to become part of the U.S. Constitution. But what about a runaway convention? Let's get a reality check. Like constitutional law scholar Robert G. Nadelson says, there are far more political and legal constraints on a runaway convention than on a runaway Congress. The convention delegates, also called commissioners, are bound to the will of their state legislatures. If they don't vote as their states demand, they get recalled. They might even get sent to prison. Furthermore, a full 3/4 of the state legislatures, we're talking 38 state legislatures, must ratify each and every amendment in order for it to become part of the U.S. Constitution. Even Alexander Hamilton and Abraham Lincoln, who favored national government, emphasized that Article 5 gives states authority over the national government. Hamilton writes that national rulers have no option upon the subject. The words of Article 5 are peremptory. The Congress shall call a convention. And Lincoln says the convention mode seems preferable, in that it allows amendments to originate with the people themselves. Article 5 Convention of the States is a safe route to stopping federal overreach. Civilizations rise and fall. Let's be a civilization that saw the cycle of collapse coming and broke it.
August 2nd, 1990, Saddam Hussein's forces crashed through the defenses of oil-rich Kuwait. In fear of an Iraqi invasion into Saudi Arabia, the United States and her coalition allies poured into the Arabian Peninsula to form a deterrent that would be known as Desert Shield. The result was a series of diplomatic talks, negotiations and counter-negotiations that rapidly declined into a no-hope situation. On August 17th, 1991, Desert Shield became Desert Storm. The conflict was witnessed by millions through the eye of CNN and the BBC, showing propaganda of the systematic eradication of Saddam's forces by a coalition far superior in technological, political, and economic power. However, what was little known was that from the outset the war was engineered, controlled, and manipulated by an elite group. A group which had created the illusion of a man with power, at the head of a million-strong army, on the verge of going nuclear. A man who had gained control over 1/5 of the world's oil overnight. However, in reality, he was merely a pawn, in amongst many pawns, just a puppet in a grand master plan, with the Gulf War as a well-orchestrated stepping stone. The orchestrators of the war were by no means strangers to controlling major world events. In fact, they have done so for centuries. From the shadows, they have engineered every major war, revolution, and recession. They control everything you read, everything you hear, and everything you see. They have managed to indoctrinate an entire populace to their way of thinking and have infiltrated key positions in places of authority. And it is from the shadows that they have created a new political order, a new economic order, and more sinister, a new religious order. Their ultimate aim is total global domination, and they will stop at nothing to reach their goal. The goal that was outlined in a speech given by former President of the United States, George Bush.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order.
However, the origins of this global plan were not created in the offices of the White House. In reality, their roots lay in another war. This time, the year is 1095, and the place, Clermont, France.
Free thinkers, Hyperboreans, builders of the future, we are anonymous, because many of you seem to think the very fact of our existence is indeed rather confusing. We would like to take this opportunity to elucidate to you what it is anonymousism does exactly, what it means we are anonymous, what it is we're aiming at, and what is our ontological status. Now, first and foremost, it is important to realize that anonymous, in fact, does not exist. It is just an idea, an internet meme, that can be appropriated by anyone, anytime to rally for a common cause that's in the benefit of humankind. This means anyone can launch a new ideological message or campaign under the banner of anonymous. Anyone can take up a leading role in the spreading of the anon consciousness. Whether or not these appropriations are legitimate is decided by the rest of the internet citizenry. If the majority of the public agrees with a proposed appropriation, then the public will act. If the majority of the public disagrees with a proposed appropriation, then the public will protest and label the message in question as illegitimate and thus not representative of the values of Anonymous. This makes Anonymous the first truly democratic endeavor in the world. It is a beehive where the queen is missing, yet buzzing with activity in every possible form, direction, shape and color one could possibly imagine. This does not mean, however, that there can't be bad actions presented as coming from Anonymous just as with bad speech though. We believe the solution to these issues is not less speech, but more speech, not less, or restrictive action, but more, and constructive action. Anonymous believes the only legitimate form of power is that power which rests on widespread public consent, and so there is not one person or group of people who can ever claim to be anonymous. Anonymous is not a political current, nor is it based on a political current. Some may say that it's anarchism, liberalism, communism, libertarianism, etc. Others say it's nothing but a bunch of 12-year-olds from 4chan having fun on the internet. Anonymous is none of those, yet it encompasses elements of all these things and many, many more. Anonymous is the people and the people is anonymous. Anonymous is anything and everything, anyone and everyone, anywhere and everywhere. Moreover, anyone taking part in the actions of Anonymous endeavors to defend an idea through anonymous collective action, and not to promote themselves as some kind of hero or savior of the world. Anonymous, therefore, is not about personal achievement and recognition. It is about accomplishing goals for the betterment of humankind, together, as a species. The internet has changed the way we look at each other and the world. New technology has enabled people to communicate faster and more often. Anonymous realizes that this freedom of information makes people more free to decide what they like or disagree with. This freedom of information has forever changed how society perceives consensus, democracy, transparency, and freedom itself. Never before has society been able to have these debates 24 hours a day, at all locations at the same time. Anonymous applauds these developments and will defend humanity against anyone willing to take this newfound freedom away. We do not forgive censorship, and we do not forget that knowledge is free. Moreover, we are legion, so we will not be denied. The more they repress us, the more we will fight back. Because we are more than one. Because they can find and persecute one man or woman fighting for a cause, but not hundreds of thousands of people all across the globe, fighting for a more just and transparent society. Now please take up your personal responsibility. Show the world some loving and be anonymous. We're anonymous, and so are you. Knowledge is free.